I have a history of diabetes in my family. And so the first thing when I came here was to get the test myself to see what my risk was. I'm at high risk for diabetes. Getting this score does cause you to go, wow, I better do something about that. Everybody's got a relative that's a diabetic. You know, type 2 diabetes is an incredibly explosive disease.
And here's the key. Most of it's preventable, and it's not being prevented. So I asked myself, why is this?
We started with proving the science first, and then a product out of that.
We're using a number of different biomarkers and combining the results of those biomarkers in a proprietary algorithm, and we developed those by testing thousands and thousands of samples that we obtained from blood banks and archives around the world.
There are people that are developing things such as what is called insulin resistance assays, but what they don't know is who becomes a diabetic and who doesn't. That we have the outcomes. That makes us unique. I don't know of anybody else doing that.
When we started Tethys 5 years ago, we wanted to make sure we did something very special in diagnostics. Most companies, when they think about what they want to do, they think about the technologies that they have and try to determine what they can do with it. But we had a very different idea. That was that we want to understand what the great unmet needs were in diagnostics and determine how best to solve it. And today, what are the biggest diseases? They're really cardiometabolic diseases. They have the greatest impact both clinically and economically, and in fact, the entire world. We know that these diseases are by and large preventable, yet nobody's preventing them. Why is that? Well, it has to do with the fact that we just don't know who the right people are to focus on. And what we wanted to do was try to solve that problem. We have ways to look at the risk of large groups of people who are in aggregate at low risk, such as fasting glucose for diabetics. And because it's such low risk over the period of 5 to 10 to 15 years, people just don't do anything about it. They wait for someone to become a diabetic. What we had in mind was very different. What we wanted to do was take that large group of people in aggregate low risk and find the small group of people within them that harbor most of the risk. And it ends up that's about 10% of the population. That's a much easier problem to deal with regard to prevention measures and how to preempt the disease.
If you're an MD, you might be able to impact many hundreds of people over the course of your life. That's it.
Loading samples onto our system.
In diagnostics, everybody who's at risk for the disease is going to be impacted by what you do. And that's literally, in this case, hundreds of millions of people. So I can't think of anything I could do that would be more important than diagnostics.
I think this is a paradigm shift in the way that we deal with cardiometabolic disease. We can focus much more on prevention when we know who the right people are to focus our time and money on. I think the implications are that we will see more judicious use of dollars in healthcare. We will see better health treatment. We will see fewer people get devastating diseases, and overall people will live healthier, better lives. Preempting diabetes would have an enormous impact both clinically and economically. We believe that the use of PREDIX to determine which people harbor most of the risk gives us an opportunity to focus resources where they're needed most, to save an incredible amount of money, as much as $250 billion in the United States, and also to decrease the number of complications from the disease, such as heart attack, amputations, kidney disease, and many other problems that plague the diabetic.